Up. You guys ready? Right. Hold on. I'm gonna put it Good evening, boxing world. I'm Antonio Baez with AB Boxing News. Barza Hoops Radio presents AB Boxing News Podcast. I'm Antonio with
Southpaw Mello.
The Nose Hunter, the urban legend.
There you have it. The dynamic duo or trio, let's say.
Yes.
So, another week, February 25th, 8 to 9 p.m., AB Boxing News Podcast. So, we got a great week. I'm hyped. I'm ready to see the return of, my opinion, the pound for pound king, Canelo Alvarez. Mello?
I want to see how he performs, but I mean, it's a mandatory. We got to see how it goes. But I'm pretty sure he's going to come and dominate.
Nose Hunter, what do you think?
I'm not quite sure. I mean, tomorrow's gonna be a good. It's gonna be a good. I mean,
Well, Saturday.
he ain't weighing in tomorrow. So.
yeah, true.
But
true. Good point.
I expect nothing less. I think it's gonna be a good win. It's gonna be a UD.
Now, those that don't know, PBC on Fox has a fight too. Surprise, everybody! Everybody forgot about Mr. Durrell.
Oh, Anthony Durrell.
Yeah, Anthony Durrell is fighting tomorrow. Saturday. PBC on Fox. So that's another event on Saturday. We'll get into that more. Also on Saturday, we have Parker versus FA. UK. So we're packed with fights. But we got a lot of news. The big question today was what's going on with the saga of Teofimo Lopez. So those that don't know, there was a purse bid today, and the results is not top rank. Thriller wins the purse bid at $6.02 million. So second place was Mr. Eddie Hearn, representing the zone on this one, and he had bid $3.51 million. And Bob Arum, of course, Stingy Bob, excuse me, he bid $2.32 million. So it's better than the 1 point something that we heard previously.
Still wasn't enough, though.
Wasn't enough.
I mean, what you gotta understand is too, like, the arenas are not packed out. They're trying their best, right? They're trying to come to the table. They're trying to be fair. Like we got to give them credit. Give them credit for at least trying to, give them something a little bit more enticing. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, double million digits. I mean, you got to get. Come on, let's get realistic.
I mean, that was the big news. But also, I got to mention, applaud. Oscar Valdez shutting up a lot of people Saturday night.
That was serious. Was serious.
I should have mentioned that the first thing. So my apologies to Oscar Valdez. He just shocked everybody, and he just put the whole division on notice. Don't forget about me. I'm a heavy hitter, and my trainer, obviously, he's representing Canelo Alvarez this weekend too. He's definitely going to be in discussion for Trainer of the Year early.
Oh, I agree. I agree. I was a big fan of Valdez since the Scott Quigg fight, where he got his jaw broken in the 5th round.
Right.
And he pushed through, and he won that fight, a decision. And when he switched over to Eddie Reynoso, you can tell that he fine-tuned him. His defense was a lot better. He looked a lot sharper. His shots were more short, and they were more clean. He was landing that left hook at will. So, yeah, he definitely looks a lot better.
I know. And then also we have today, we'll get back to that just a little bit. We got special guest Classic calling in today, Team Wilder. So I've been on the phone with him, right before the anniversary of a year of Team Wilder losing, Deontay Wilder losing to Tyson Fury.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been talking to him about what's going on with Mark Breland and why he did an interview with IFL in the UK, and he's been running his mouth. And Classic is going to call in and give us what really happened.
And shout out to the Bomb Squad, shout out to Team Wilder. Like I said, man, to us that are fans, we don't understand like how intense at that high level it is, man. Like when it comes to major fights like that, these are not like two journeymen that are fighting. These are two guys that are on top of their game, and emotions get involved. Some fighters lose, some fighters, and it's something that us fans don't understand that there's two sides of the story. Some people say Wilder was this. Some people say Mark really was this. The only way is like, the truth will come out no matter who says it, or, maybe someone outside will say it, and we'll probably hear it today.
Well, it's going to be interesting because Classic's got a lot to say, and especially the night of the fight. So actually, I'm looking forward for everybody hearing the version that some have not heard.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll be calling in shortly, and that'll be very interesting. But let's go back. Let's do, this is the fight week, but let's rewind. We got to go into potentially the knockout of the year, top rank, ESPN. Oscar Valdez defeats Miguel Berchelt for his WBC title. And me personally, I had Berchelt the favorite in this fight, so I'm going to eat my words and man up and say I thought Oscar Valdez would put a good fight. I didn't know. I was shocked to see his footwork and just his boxing IQ shocked the shit out of me. And I could see the difference, him being with Reynoso right there.
Definitely.
And that's the cool thing about it, though. You understand too, and that's what makes boxing the most exciting sport. Is it only takes one shot. It only takes one counterpunch to change the whole tempo of fight to end the fight. And shout out to both men showing great sportsmanship after. I think that was one of the also big highlight of the fight. Them coming together and like saying, yo, you know what? I think that could be a rematch in the future. And I think it's one of those fights that could be fight of the year this year. And the year's not even halfway over.
Yes, definitely. I'm actually, I could see that fight happening in the next year. Berchelt rebuilds himself.
Mm-hmm.
He suffered a big knockout. And that's going to come to another question I want to speak about. Was it the right call to have him keep fighting until the knockout? That was a tough one.
He was on wobbly legs.
For a while.
I feel like they gave him the benefit of the doubt because he's the champ. He had Bambi legs in the first round really bad. He was barely able to stand. It looks like his equilibrium was thrown completely off,
right.
And they let him go, and he ate a lot of power shots.
You got to think about it too. Like, how's that going to affect him down the road for the remaining of his career? Like, some guys, taking punishment like that, it has dividends. We don't. Hopefully, it's not all bad. He can recover. He can get back to the top of his game again. It's boxing.
It was tough. The fight was. The fight to me, the fight lived up to the hype, guys. I saw this fight. I saw Valdez shockingly outboxing Berchelt, and his IQ was there. But then, we seen Berchelt get dropped once and then dropped twice. And the crazy part to me was after he got dropped the second time, his urgency just jumped. He on most of the judges' scorecards, he had won the next 2 rounds. And I seen Valdez actually looking a little tired. And he dug deep, and he was able to counter. And Berchelt, it looked like that he had one. He couldn't adjust. I noticed that. I give him great, crazy warrior because he was hurt a few times. Anybody would have quit, and he didn't hold. He just stood there and dug deep.
It reminded me of like. I would compare it to like a Vinny Paz versus Roger Mayweather type fight where
it was old school.
One guy was like, okay, Vinny Paz was active, he was throwing a lot of punches, and then Roger Mayweather just changed the tempo and made his adjustments and won.
I think this fight lived up to finally Mexico versus Mexico. Well, I honestly felt like
definitely
I honestly felt like
Mexican war.
Yeah, this was a Mexican war. I felt like the fans got a lot. But then I saw the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. Everybody says, oh, this and this. I say, well, what does numbers show? Not, purses and ratings. So this fight peaked at almost 1 million. Almost.
But that, what I like We need, you know what it is? I like these type of fights because it's guys willing to risk it all. The days of no losses and you take a loss, you're a bum. Days are over.
Okay.
Boxing's back. Boxing's back. We're taking the fan politics out of it. We're taking, the social media aspect out of it, the bragging rights. Guys now are just gonna fight. And that's what we need. The best fighting the best. You know what I mean? Guys are not scared to lose their all anymore. And shout out to Valdez and Burchett because those two entertaining fight. I had people at work that were not even boxing fans. Yo, you saw that fight with the two Mexican guys? Oh yeah, Valdez and Burchett. Yo, that was crazy on ESPN. I was like, yo, that's why I said top rank.
Interesting, but I thought the fight lived up to the hype, and just in general, we saw the crazy ending in round 10. The knockout was brutal.
The footwork was insane.
Yeah, I mean, Southpaw Miller, when you seen that knockout live, what was your first reaction?
That shot woke me up. I screamed. I was like, whoa. And his legs gave out. He was done.
Shit. No, Simon, what was your reaction when you seen that?
Yo, great counter, great intelligence because it was a setup.
Yeah.
It was but the thing about it, how slick it was, and no disrespect to the Mexican fighters, but we don't see counters like that besides Marquez. Marquez is probably one of the last few guys that really can, and maybe a Barrera that can counter so quick. Barrera probably was even more quicker than Marquez. And I would say, man, like, I don't know what fight can top that right now. Two elite guys. We're not talking about, how does Bob Arum say, a ham and egger, or, we're not going to see that. We're not. That set the standard to boxing for 2021.
Well, what about this, right? Mm-hmm. They were saying that a lot of people, Burchell came in as a favorite, right?
Yeah.
Then there was a lot of heavy betting on Valdez the day of the fight, right? And they were saying that was because a lot of these people that do betting, they wait for the weigh-in. And they said Burchell looked like the weight drained him.
Yeah,
and after the weigh-in, he ran straight for food and water, and Valdez was calm and drinking water. And there was a few rounds where he did look sluggish. If you notice, he didn't have a lot of speed on his punches. So how much of that could have been from the weight cut?
You think that could help him maybe up getting hurt and being wobbled? You think maybe he was too dry?
Yeah, because they say when you dehydrate yourself a lot, right? Then you fill back up. Your brain still is shriveled. It takes a lot longer to fill back up.
Yeah.
So you're more susceptible to a concussion.
Yeah, that's very true. Like I learned that too. Like, what do you think, Antonio?
I think it's interesting that you say that because when they did the weigh-in before the fight, the day of, Burchell weighed 146.
Wow.
And Valdez was like 140.
Yep.
So he was so basically he was underweight. I mean, he was basically dry. I mean, I know what that feels like. I mean, you feel like you never worked out a day in your life. So he pretty much just fought his way through the fight. He couldn't pull the trigger. He probably wasn't explosive. So the footwork probably looked really insane because his legs wasn't there. Even after hydration.
His hands looked a little slow in some of those exchanges I was noticing.
Yeah.
I think with this fight, I don't want to use the weight drain and as an excuse because Burchell never mentioned it that it bothered him.
Yeah.
So like to be fair, I've noticed in Burchell's history, he was the bully. He will bully people and take the will out of them. And surprise, Valdez used footwork and speed and accuracy, and he just shocked the shit out of Burchell. And Burchell, after he felt his power, he felt like he got behind too early in the beginning. That was the first problem. He got behind early. Then when he picked it up a notch, Valdez started countering him. And then he felt his power. And even before Burchell felt the first time, we saw him shake twice. He got hit twice hard, and he shook. And I give him credit. A lot of guys would have fell.
Yeah.
But you know what I say about that too, man? Like,
I think the weight did help him, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I mean, with a guy being that dry, at least susceptible to getting wobbled. I mean, we've been in the gyms. We've seen guys before they fight, and they get that last spar, and they be so dry, like your muscles look flat. Like, you know what I mean? Like your muscles are flat. if the first thing you do is grabbing that big, I mean, you're going to rehydrate, but getting a big thing of Gatorade and Pedialyte. Like I remember I did an exhibition.
Pedialyte, yeah.
I did an exhibition one time in Staten Island, and the first thing I did was grab the Powerade and Pedialyte and drunk it because I was spot on.
Yeah, you needed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, overall, I felt like Burchell, we haven't seen this from him. He had one mode. His corner didn't really tell him enough. Not to blame him, but maybe they're just used to him being this bully, this warrior, right? And for once, Valdez, great footwork. To me, it looked like a little mini Lomachenko. I saw him turning. He was turning, and he caught me off guard. I've never seen him move like that.
The slip into the counter punch was insane.
Yeah.
He slipped by an inch.
He kind of did that Canelo.
Yeah.
Then ducked under and then.
Oh, with Eddie, I wouldn't be surprised. Eddie
That's what I'm saying. Eddie Reynoso was definitely polishing up this guy. He was a Mexican brawler when he got to him, and now he's polishing up his defense. So he's actually adding more dimensions to his skill set.
Mexican boxing is evolving just like the Eastern European style, where they used to be like more upright, and now they're getting more slick. They're getting an inside game. Now you're starting to see the days of Mexican fighters not relying on footwork and just coming forward and banging. That's like a dinosaur now. I mean, Canelo's kind of changed the narrative of being a complete fighter and having multiple layers and multiple adjustments now. Now they're not, and the fans are not screaming, "Oh, this guy's running," because they wasn't saying that when he was fought, fought Triple G the first time he used legs. But that's something else.
Right. So, overall, I just didn't see Burchell recover. But after the set being dropped the second time, he had won 2 straight rounds, like I mentioned before, and it looked like there was a key defining moment in the end of I believe, the 7th and 8th round. And I see Valdez right at the end of the round. He came along, and I think he really got his second win. I felt that he got his second win. He did a nice counter to end the round, and then when he came out, he looked like he was re-energized. And he weathered the storm.
Some guys get hit like even like this, like southpaw. Like you ever hit a guy, you gotta look dazed, and his eyes just get real big.
Yeah.
Like, some guys just wake up. He could have just, like I said, like I agree with you. Like he could have just woke up.
Could have just woke up. I felt like he got his. He ended the round, the last 15 seconds. Nice counter. He looked good. As soon as he came out for, I believe, the 9th round, looked good. And then we've seen the 10th. Burchell was just trying so hard, aggressive warrior that he is. And then Valdez, he saw it coming. It reminded me, of Manny Pacquiao getting knocked out by Marquez.
That's a perfect analogy.
It was pretty close. I mean, it wasn't.
It was the right hand.
It was.
Burchell probably was getting a little frustrated, and he let his emotions and his will to want to really get in there overcome. Yeah, and he got sloppy. He was lunging forward and throwing wide.
His hand was down.
Yeah, he's stepping and overreaching, and then he ran right into that shot.
He ran right into it, and I felt like he got a little sloppy with his footwork.
Yeah. He got caught off balance.
He got caught off balance, and Valdez saw it coming, and he said,
"What you just said with Pacquiao. Pacquiao's always off balance, and that's why he got knocked out so bad because he literally fell right into the right hand."
Right. But Marquez said, in the past for training for the fight, he saw that Pacquiao. He likes to. And I always mention this. Pacquiao is a time guy. He times the rounds, when to go and when to pick it up.
Yeah.
And Pacquiao's that guy. He'll start off a little bit, he'll pick it up, he'll rest, and he'll close strong to steal a round.
Well, Marquez is brilliant. He's one of the last, I mean, not saying last, but one of the veteran technicians from Mexico. See, Pacquiao, just like what Mayweather called him, he fell forward with his head. He has a habit of falling forward with his head. Marquez timed it, Mayweather timed it, Bradley timed it, and it works for him. You know what I mean? Even Jeff Horn timed it.
Jeff Horn did a pretty good job for a guy that's wasn't well known at the time. Yeah, right. So as we close this topic, what's next for Oscar Valdez? Southpaw?
The sky's the limit, man. The sky is the limit. Whoever he wants, he's looking really, really good.
Nose Hunter?
I think he's still going to be considered elite. He's got, I see him getting mega fights. I see him crossing weight classes. I see catch weights. I see a lot of opportunities. A lot of guys are going to be knocking at his door.
Well, what was interesting is that they interviewed Shakur Stevenson, and Valdez says, "Let's make the fight." Shakur says, "Let's make the fight." The real question is, will Top Rank make this fight? Valdez, Shakur Stevenson.
I think the timing has to be right, and I think also too, if I'm Bob Arum's going to see like, am I going to get my return on my investment of these two fighters at the right time? We can't just rush them into it because it has to sell. It has to be a build-up. I think Shakur Stevenson has to have a good another dominating performance,
Right.
and then they can come to the table and say, okay, well, he got the knockout of the year. Okay, well, I've got the best performance of the year, and then they can come together
Right.
and maybe in September.
Right. I think Shakur's gonna fight. I think before May.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna see that, and then Valdez and him could fight in September. I wouldn't be shocked though. We see this fight early 2022. I think it might need a little build up. Could it be pay-per-view worthy? I think both guys can get the money they want, and Bob can get the money he wants if this is on pay-per-view. The question is it pay-per-view worthy? Mello?
I think so. I mean, Shakur Stevenson, is a tough prospect. He's young. He's very skillful.
Yeah.
And Valdez definitely is explosive, and he's getting better every fight. So why shouldn't these guys get, pay-per-view money? They should.
I think they'll be on pay-per-view, but it would have to be like maybe an undercard at 135. Like the 135-pound guy should fight.
Gotta be strong.
And they should be at 126 or 130. Those guys. So it should be like kind of a super pay-per-view so that the fans can get the best bang in the buck and can be promoted. Because people want, let's just keep it real. A lot of people are going to want to see Teofimo Lopez and they'll see Valdez. You'll get 2 for 1. You'll get a South American, you'll get a Mexican fighting on the same card. Maybe next year, not this year. Maybe Cinco de Mayo next year. Yeah. It's more smarter to do it that way. Let's not rush to September because we have too many fights that are around that time, and keep going.
And what's interesting is I think it's going to need more time to marinate. The truth, it's like a steak. You want it to marinate.
Absolutely.
On the undercard, congrats to Gabriel Flores. He had a nice win, dominant win, and actually, I see Gabriel Flores getting a big fight.
Yeah,
and it could be somebody like Oscar Valdez. It just depends the scenario. I think he's gonna get a big fight, and I just don't know about this Valdez and Shakur Stevenson yet. I think like Stevenson needs a dominant win like Valdez just had to put them together right away.
Shakur has to have a really, really dominating performance his next fight. He's not a big fan, he doesn't have a huge fan base. Let's just keep it real. Shakur Stevenson, to the average casual fan, is not really being talked about. His weight division is being overshadowed by 135 and 147. Right. So those dudes have to really, really work, and it has to be promoted. And I'm sorry, but it's going to have to be an undercard. It cannot be a main event. It's not at that level.
So would you pay for a pay-per-view of Valdez Stevenson and a good undercard underneath?
No.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't do a main event. I would pay for maybe a Lopez fighting someone else that's top 135 and them being
like a co-main event.
A co-main event, and because the co-main event could always, we've seen plenty of times where co-main events have always outshadowed the main event, but that gives them.
But the name gets the views, the viewership.
So then they can get their own headliner pay-per-view if they put a dominant performance. But it's not going to be head. I can't see it.
I think it's tricky. I think if Valdez knocks out the next opponent, I think he could potentially be a pay-per-view king. Because he has the backing of the Mexican people.
Yes.
And what I like about Valdez, the very few people that are Mexican that speak English and Spanish.
Yeah.
And Valdez is one of those people that he has the potential. One more big knockout like this, he can be on the radar to be a pay-per-view king.
But will Shakur Stevenson take second place and be the B side? That's the question. Will he accept being the B side?
I think Shakur been around him in the past.
Yeah,
very humble guy. I think Shakur is about legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said they had a video of him saying he's been calling out Valdez for a while now.
And Shakur Stevenson, is he thinking about that type of style fight? They're both very good at what they do. Shakur's footwork and ring general with IQ is probably one of the best. I feel like he's probably going to be a smaller future Andre Ward in the future. He might have one of those fights. He can have a big upset. That's just my opinion.
Definitely. So as we close the topic, hopefully we see a mega fight by the end of 2021, if not early 2022. But guys, to cross to the UK, we had a nice knockout as well. We had David Avanesyan knock out Josh Kelly.
Oh man,
brutal.
That was unexpected.
But wait, let me get the name. Josh Kelly is the one that he's the one that shows off.
Yes.
And he tries to be like a Roy
He does a
Jones.
hands. He
Well,
does a hands down
this.
style.
He wanted this fight, and I remember David saying, "Be careful what you wish for." And this fight got delayed a few times, so we saw the truth in the UK on Saturday.
And I didn't see the fight, but I can. But let me see if maybe I guess. He got caught being too unorthodox. He got caught with his hands down.
He got hurt.
He got an elbow to the back of the head, and it was making him bleed. That's why he had the bleeding.
Yeah.
But that guy was making it a rough fight for Josh Kelly.
Because Josh Kelly sometimes slips too low.
Yeah.
Sometimes hands it down. It's like you can't emulate guys that like a Lomachenko or Roy Jones. You have to be more in your style, and they made this learning lesson for him.
It is the learning lesson, and congratulate David. He has won the European welterweight title, or he defended it. Excuse me. But guys, we had the big news today. I mentioned earlier the Teofimo Lopez saga. So Triller wins the bid for $6 million, and people say you outbid Eddie Hearn. Eddie was at 3.51. You're at 6.02. Stingy Bob Arum was at 2.32. Nose Hunter top rank 2.32. What? Nose Hunter, I got
top rank kind of over there.
Yeah, I gotta look at you. I gotta look at you and call you out a little bit.
Well, maybe
if he's the cash cow. I mean, well, not cash cow. Let me rewind myself. Let me tone it down. If Teofimo Lopez looks like to be, the head horse for top rank, how do you low ball him at that low number?
Well, I mean, maybe Bob Arum thinks it's 1994 still. Maybe he's in coach inflation. Maybe the 2.3 maybe is in his mind is like $6 million today.
I mean, it's tough right now, to be honest. Like, fighters want to get paid, but then it's like, wait a second.
Where's the audience?
The audience is limited, and I give Eddie props. 3.5 is not a bad number. It's respectable compared to 2.3.
Triller just went 6.
Yeah, I think Triller overpaid, but I think this was a statement, though. I think it was.
Triller said this. Even with the exhibitions, with Roy Jones and Mike Tyson,
right? And they did well, though. They did well.
One thing about it, see, the thing about Triller, you can't compare it to a boxing promotion because they're a major media outlet that and to other forms of entertainment like music. So they have the bag already. So at 6.5, they're like, well, this is a big investment because we're gonna pull more and more stars and more. They're gonna get paid off of exhibitions because they made bank off the Tyson Roy Jones one already.
Right.
So they don't care about giving them a little 6.5 million.
It's interesting because supposedly Snoop Dogg is working with Triller, so actually
he was hilarious. By the way,
he was hilarious with the with the whole, and he performed while smoking a blunt. Roy, it was a Tyson Roy Jones exhibition, and the numbers it did really well actually. So actually, him being on board with them. People are gonna just order I think it's gonna be ordering a pay-per-view or the app. I'm not sure how it's going right now.
Crazy. I got my mom that exhibition for a birthday gift. It was her birthday that day.
Right.
Nice.
Right. And
nice.
People love to hear Snoop. He's a funny guy. He's a likable guy. He's like Shaq on TV. Shaq. People are drawn to Shaq.
Their leverage is that Snoop may not be the biggest, have the most knowledge about boxing, but it's a different edge than series commentator. Like it's a different. Like they know what they're doing. They know that they're going to bring the big entertainment aspect. They're probably going to do something with Logan and Jake Paul in the future. Who knows?
Yeah. So, going forward with that, so we got to give credit to Ryan Kavanaugh. That hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. He's the head man in Triller, and he's the one that made the bid. So, people that don't know him, and even me, I got to follow up more on that, more information. He was involved in making that large over $6 million purse bid. Team Lopez is happy, of course. They took a risk, but we congratulate Lopez for standing up for himself.
Closed mouths don't get fed.
Right. He stood up for himself. Congratulations to Split T Boxing. They're also with Team Lopez, and they worked that deal out. But anyways, going forward, hopefully the numbers do great. I'm not sure if it's going to be on their app or it's going to be pay-per-view. I'm assuming it's going to be pay-per-view.
Who else is on that Canelo card? Julio Cesar Martinez, right?
Yeah.
That guy, I love watching that guy fight. That guy is a beast.
What? Say that one more time.
Julio Cesar Martinez.
Well, I got some bad news for you.
Oh man,
Yep.
What happened?
The fight is off for this Saturday.
You tested positive?
No. He put a few hours ago. He was supposed to fight McWilliams Arroyo. The fight is off. 112-pound title bout. Martinez has a picture on Instagram. His hand is huge, swollen up. He had suffered this injury before the end of camp, and I'm assuming it was probably last week, and he thought that
He was
it would
probably
get
trying to
better.
write it out. Yeah.
Oh, we got a phone
We got a
call.
phone call.
Tony Obias with AB Boxing News Podcast. Who's calling in?
What's up? What's up? This Classic.
Oh shit, we got Classic calling in. Thank you. Classic Team Wilder. I'm also here with Southpaw Mello and
How you doing, brother? How you doing?
Bomb squad.
What's up?
Bomb Squad.
All right, so Classic. We've been talking, and I appreciate you calling in. I know you're a busy man, and tell everybody where they can follow you at, because I know you're always traveling and doing your thing.
Oh, you can follow me on Instagram, The Real Classic with the number 4 life on Instagram. I'm also on Facebook, Classic MGM Grand Smith. Or you could Google me too. You could put in Classic MGM Grand Smith. All my music will be on SoundCloud. All the pictures will come up and everything.
There you have it. So Classic. Just a few days ago, it was the anniversary of the big showdown of Deontay Wilder defending his title against Tyson Fury. And
yeah,
there's been a lot of talk, and obviously me and you have talked, and I appreciate you calling in to clear the air about what's going on with Mark Breland, doing UK interviews and basically saying a lot, and it's great that you're calling in because I can get your side of what really happened.
Okay. Well, from my side, Friday, Christopher, that's Deontay Wilder's right-hand man, Christopher.
Yes.
Christopher, shout out to my homeboy Christopher. He told me to meet up with Mark Breland, and when I had met up with Mark Breland was acting like a little bitch. Mark Breland had an attitude. He was acting like he didn't want to be there for Deontay Wilder. So this is like the first strike. So like with Mark Breland and everything, his energy was off. So between our camp, we all know each other, energy and everything. I wasn't feeling that. And that's the crazy thing about situations in life and everything, because you might have somebody in your circle that's jealous of you and everything. And truly from my heart, I feel Mark Breland is jealous of Jay. We all feel that way. Because at the end of the day, Mark Breland, I had to think back because I had to go back to the first fight when we was all in Los Angeles when Tyson Fury fought Deontay Wilder at the Staples Center. And I can remember when it still went to a draw. We really knew Deontay Wilder won that match. Deontay knocked him out. The ref should have waived the fight. The ref gets on the floor. It looks like he touches Tyson Fury a little bit. People got to pay attention to that. When Tyson Fury hit the ground, his eyes was rolling. The ref got on the ground with him and was 1, 2, 3. Even when he had got up, the count, he had like at least 12 or 13 or 14 seconds to get up. And me, Lil Scrappy, and all of us, and my other friend had like a timer on it too. So it was a lot of things done to my brother. Like I said, I'm part of the Bomb Squad family. Shout out to Deontay Wilder. That family. There's a lot of things that happened in between before this happened at the second fight.
Right. And I was at that fight actually too. I remember actually seeing you. I saw you real quick though in LA, and then definitely with the whole. I remember seeing you for the Ortiz fight in Vegas. We were able to chop it up.
Oh,
and
yeah,
we were over there at the
there.
MGM Grand.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're over there. Right before he fought, November, right before the fight with Fury. Now, my question to you is, what went so wrong where Mark Breland stopped the fight, and I remember Wilder had said that he wants to go on his shield, and that's where there was a lot of people were saying Mark stopped the fight, he did the right thing, but Deontay felt that I gave instructions, I want to go out on my shield like a man, then you should listen to me. What was that the key factor in everybody going their separate way. I would say, Breland and Team and Wilder.
Well, like I said, when I seen it, and when I was there next to, like, I seen it in a different way. Like, I was sitting next to Deontay Wilder's mother and everybody, and when we seen Mark Breland throwing the towel, we was pissed off because that's not how Deontay is a fighter. No matter what, he's that type of person and stuff. He wants to go on the show. But the crazy thing about it, what people gotta pay attention to, is that when Tyson Fury, you gotta look at Tyson Fury. He has a cheating history. He has a cheating past. That's what people don't even understand. Why nobody ain't saying nothing about the monitors in the back? Nobody's not saying nothing about Tyson Fury turning off the monitor. Now, I'm going to give you another prime example. How did Tyson Fury get this much power? Just think about it. His last fight, he fought against Otto Wallin, right? Otto Wallin. Y'all saw the fight, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. It went 12 rounds. Otto Wallin gave him 47 stitches during that fight. It wasn't even supposed. He wasn't really supposed to get to Deontay Wilder. Now, if anybody in the sport with a face all covered in blood, bleeding, 47 stitches, you think they would have stopped the fight? If something like that happened to Deontay Wilder, you think they would have stopped the fight? Or any one of our fighters? They would have stopped the fight.
Yeah, I think
because Tyson Fury is a top-ranked fighter. He's a top-ranked fighter. See, a lot of stuff that they're not showing and talking about, nobody's talking about the situation that happened. Nobody's talking about Glovegate. Now, pay attention. You got to pay attention to this. This man fought against Otto Wallin, and you just saw Otto Wallin fight against who? Y'all paid attention?
Yeah.
You saw him fight against Dominique.
Yeah, Brazil.
Right?
Yeah, Brazil. Yeah, Saturday.
Well, Otto Wallin went 12 rounds with a person who Deontay Wilder knocked out in the first round.
Right.
The first round. So we know the level of competition. Now, when people is not looking at the level of competition, all of a sudden Tyson Fury comes into the Deontay Wilder fight, and he has this extra power. He hits Deontay Wilder with a shot, and Deontay Wilder is bleeding behind his ear. People got to pay attention to this man is a non-puncher. He never was a ferocious puncher because we know the hard hitters. Who are your hardest hitters in the heavyweight division? Can you tell me?
Andy Ruiz.
Huh?
Ruiz, Wilder. Wilder's,
Dylan White.
Wilder. I was able to interview and talk to Wilder in the past, and there's no secret. He has the knockout power, the leading knockout power.
Yeah.
He got that great equalizer.
He has equalizer. Yeah.
All right, now name the fighters. Name more.
Dylan White, Chisora. We have.
Well, you mentioned
We
Ruiz.
talked about Luis Ortiz already. He's got decent power.
Yeah, you lose Ortiz. Now, lose Ortiz, we know he's a monster. Now, Anthony Joshua, right?
Yeah, AJ.
AJ is one of the roughest people. Like I said, I really don't like his style. I know he has, like, glass jaw. When he gets hit and stuff, he reminds me, like, Amir Khan, when Amir Khan gets hit.
Okay.
And he got the glass jaw. But y'all all know he has power. Now, can you tell me when Tyson Fury fought against Klitschko, did he knock Klitschko down one time?
No.
During that fight, did he knock him out?
I would just say it's just a different style.
He just boxed. He boxed. There was a lot of holding. It was a sloppy fight. It was a sloppy fight.
It wasn't opportunities for them to do. They're both, it's a different style.
And so crazy, he tested positive though during that fight. He tested positive. And you know what his excuse was? That's why his UK license is banned right now. His excuse was that he ate wild boar. They paid somebody, a farmer.
Yeah, I read the story.
That he ate wild boar. Did you hear that story? Right?
Yeah, I did.
And that's insane that you say that too, because it's like, look, we grew up in, like I said, I got roots in Alabama too, in general.
Mm-hmm.
We don't eat a lot of chicken from the hood and from grocery stores, and none of our blood workers ever came up dirty.
Mm-hmm. and he has a cheating history. So this is not the first time he cheated. When people had to really, like I said, this is not the first time. Like when I was at the fight, I can't really tell. Like when I was at the fight, I was like, yo, Deontay never gets tired during the first round, second round, third round. D did not look like himself. And you got to think about it. When D say something, because like I said, I know him personally. Like I said, I love him to death. That's my bro. He doesn't have to lie. He doesn't have to say he does this and that. He doesn't have to lie. If you looked at his actions in the ring, you would have saw his actions in the ring. And you should know that that wasn't Deontay Wilder in the ring that night. His eyes, even when he pulled off his mask, his eyes was rolling. D touching his face way before that. D doesn't do that during the fight. Before he gets into the ring, he doesn't do that. But like before he for a battle and everything. So you got to think when I like what happened to us. Well, I seen it happen from when the first fight, when he started talking about fighting to this day. This is when all the situations started happening. When he started talking about Black history and started talking about him fighting till today. You gotta understand, for a man like Deontay Wilder, he's our only United States heavyweight champion, right?
Right.
He had to go for 5 years, right?
Right.
You gotta think about it. He's knocking everybody out. Not only that, he tied Muhammad Ali in title defenses and stuff. When a person is on his way ladder up, people try to find a way to stop him because he came out with a Black History suit on and everything. But I'm just saying, it's bigger than what people know. When it comes to Mark Breland, I've been around Mark Breland plenty of times and everything. Mark Breland energy is not like any one of our energies from the camp. We're always happy. We're always for Deontay Wilder. Mark Breland is not for Deontay Wilder. He's not. I'm talking about even situations where we're all together as a camp. He's never happy. He wasn't happy the first time when it was a draw, and we was wondering where was Mark Breland at. And he was the only person who wasn't happy for Deontay Wilder. You know why? Because jealousy, people have jealousy tendencies. He was a boxer himself. Y'all know that. He was a boxer himself.
Right.
In his career, he did not do what Deontay Wilder did in his career. So you gotta understand, certain people in your camp will do stuff. They will take money under the table. That's a part of life. You gotta understand. People, close friends, who Deontay did so much for that man. Deontay allowed him into his circle, and this is what he do. This is what Mark Breland does.
Classic. With so much going on the last few weeks with Mark Breland having an interview with IFL, and these are his words that he was talking about. Deontay, when he's in a bad mood, stay away from him, and that he doesn't want to learn and he doesn't want to do jump rope. I'm not there. I don't know that, so I would never say that. But you've been around, and Wilder's a brother to you. You've been around Mark so many times. Is that accurate, or is he just lying?
Well, look at the footage. Deontay jumping rope. I don't have to say too much. You can look at the footage of Deontay hitting the speed bag. You can look at the footage of Deontay Wilder jumping rope. You can look at Deontay. You can talk to Deontay Wilder, man. I don't understand. Like I said, where all this stuff stems from and everything. Just look at it. He did a UK. He went to Deontay Wilder's enemies. That's what a person does when they go to your enemy. That's what a person who has jealousy for you do. They go to your enemies and stuff. He knows these people don't rock with Deontay Wilder. You know that, right?
Right.
He knows that.
I know that.
So why are you doing the interview in the first place and you doing the UK? You didn't go to nobody in the United States. And then you take so long to respond. How long did it take for Mark Breland to respond to what Deontay Wilder been saying?
Wow. Long time.
Oh, wow.
Weeks.
Mm-hmm.
A week.
Yeah.
But then you go and do this because he has a book coming out.
Right. Just about to say that. He's trying to sell his book, seems like it.
You're trying to sell a book. You're trying to sell yourself. You're trying to sell a book. You're trying to do this and that. Like, I come from the soul, I come from the heart. Like, my passion and everything, I know. And what I had to, look back at it, and I really thought back at it. I was like, during the first fight, when Deontay had a draw, we still was happy. We know our brother got cheated. We know he got cheated that first fight. So I'm gonna give you a prime example. Dylan White hit the same floor like how Tyson Fury hit the floor. When Tyson Fury hit the floor, Dylan White hit he hit the floor the same way. The ref called it off for the Dylan White fight, right? You saw that, right?
Yeah. First Vivek, yeah.
Well, yeah. When you saw the Tyson Fury fight, what did the referee do? The referee got down on his knees, started yelling at him, and he touched him. Like I said, people can't tell me that referee didn't touch Tyson Fury, and then Tyson Fury went back up. He got touched. I looked at like clearly. A referee's not even supposed to do that. But at the end of the day, certain people got objectives and everything. Like Deontay Wilder's a powerful person, man. He had the belt for 5 years. We seen Deontay Wilder get hit with Luis Ortiz shot. Now, does Tyson Fury punch harder than Luis Ortiz?
But he also gained like 40 pounds too in the second fight.
Yeah, but if you gain pounds too, you can gain pounds, but that doesn't mean you're gonna have the power because Andy Ruiz fought against Anthony Joshua, and he gained a whole bunch of pounds. So he was supposed to knock Anthony Joshua right out. When Andy Ruiz came in, how much pounds he gained? What 10 or 20 pounds? How much he gained against Anthony Joshua?
Close to 20, yeah.
I did one thing I did notice too, and I do agree with you. A lot of things that you're saying, too, even with Deontay Wilder going up towards, he's about to almost tie a record of Floyd Mayweather. There's a lot of things I don't see, right? Like you're there more than us. You see things that's going on, Marciano. We've seen things in the past of certain people crossing that record and breaking those barriers. And but I will say though, watching the first fight in a knockdown, yes and no, because should have been called off. But then how can you explain the stable legs of a guy that had been knocked down so hard and he got up and actually finished the fight and actually won the last round? Yeah. That's what I was confused about. I was like, okay, well, he got knocked down, but to the ref touching, I do agree with you with that. We have seen some things in the past of fighters that have that happen to them, but I was just saying like he jogged when he got back up.
I mean,
it's really
it's tricky because even when Ruiz defeated AJ the first time, that referee was giving AJ so many chances to continue the fight.
Yeah.
If that's Kenny Bayless, if that is so many other referees, that fight has been off. He told him, "Come here." How many times? If you hear the audio,
take a breather,
right? And AJ never reacted. He put his hands on the ropes.
I don't think Wilder should have got a stoppage in the second fight. I do feel like they should have let it kept fighting. I mean, like he had his hands up. The worst scenario, Wilder probably could have tried to clinch him. I don't think that the towel thing. And I do agree with. It might, like I've been around Mark Breland, and he's not a guy that's a very authoritative and
vocal, right? Not vocal,
like,
right?
Even when I talked to him, I went to the Wolf Arenas fundraiser. He speaks
quiet,
very
so quiet. Yeah.
A strong personality like Wilder may not be well with a guy like Breland, in my opinion. So I think the dynamics just probably wasn't right from day one. And I don't know what's in both of their heads. You know what I mean? Like I don't know about Mark Breland. I don't know you were there. So you know the dynamic more than all of us.
Right. Now Classic, I gotta ask you about, what's going on with this whole spiked water situation. Did Mark do anything, going into the fight? I wasn't there. I don't know. So, but obviously you're Team Wilder. You were there that night. You were around that. Was there anything suspicious that you would say, did Mark Breland, do something with the bottle of water? That's been a question that's been going on for a year.
You would have to ask Tay Jones, but Tay Jones talks about it all the time.
Right.
But the situation with the water.
Right.
But what I feel like too is that you gotta look at it. Did the man deny not spiking the water? Did he deny it? Did he say no, I didn't do it? What did he say? Look at Jay at it, right? He didn't deny it, right?
Right.
So usually if you do something or you say, say if somebody accused you of something and you like, nah, man, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. But look at this person. He might have done it and stuff like that.
Mhm.
You're making yourself look bad.
Right. Right.
And you're not saying that you didn't deny it at all. You just say, I didn't spike the water. Well, oh, it's stupid. Look at Jay. That doesn't you say you don't spike the water. But like I said, when it comes to it and everything in the situation that went down, you just gotta look at that man's interview. That man, he lied about a lot. He lied about Deontay Wilder jumping rope. He lied about Deontay Wilder hitting the speed bag. He lied about a lot. It's like, man, what can you say more when a person is putting themselves? He said, I didn't have nothing to do with the water that night, right? Well, what do you see? Do you see pictures of Mark breathing with the water?
Right. I was just gonna say that he said that he never gave Deontay water, and then online there's pictures of him. I mean, if we see the fight over and over, he's giving him waters. So he's lying.
So
if you want to question everything.
There's pictures and there's everything. So like all I can say from my energy and everything from that Friday, the man didn't want to be there in the first place. So he didn't want to be there. Trust me, that Friday, he didn't want to be there. And I'm talking about this is before the fight Saturday. So all I can say is from my energy and being around people, and I know energy, our whole team know energy, and I had to go back to the first fight and I had to think about the first fight, and everybody else was happy for Deontay, but Mark Breeden wasn't happy for him. It just shows you a lot. And you know, this boxing game is different and stuff. You gotta understand, Madonna fought against Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Floyd Mayweather Jr. grabbed the gloves of Madonna and told him he's not fighting because these gloves got no padding. So Madonna was gonna walk to the ring and hit Floyd Mayweather Jr. with no padding.
Right.
So when people have that, oh, it can't be true. There was just a fight a couple of months ago where the trainer caught it. I forgot what the boxer's name was. I have to look it up. But the trainers caught it, and the guy was going to come into the ring with no padding in his gloves. So boxing, man, it's just different though. But like I said, I just tell my story and everything from what I experienced and everything. But I just say, just look at the man and look at his history. What you gotta do, look at his history. And then, like I said, did he have that same power when he fought against Otto Wallin? Did he have that power?
Nope.
No. He didn't have that power. Deontay sitting here fighting Luis Ortiz. I'm talking about a monster. Deontay sitting there fighting the best fighters while Tyson Fury's fighting the non-competition. So at the end of the day, when I look at it, it's like, man, Deontay Wilder had the belt for so long. He's our only United States heavyweight champion. But what they're trying to do is they trying to see a London showdown goes down. But what's happening with this fight right now? Can y'all tell me?
Right, and that was my next question to you. That why does Tyson Fury and his team not want to give Deontay Wilder the third fight, part of the contract? What's the holdup?
Because I was saying, because they know in this fight he won't be able to cheat. They know everything will be different. Like I said, guys, we have people on him, he won't be able to cheat. That man cannot win against Deontay Wilder without cheating. And like you've seen the same facts that I've seen with the dent on the side of his head. It comes from a blunt object hitting you. A dent doesn't come. Have you seen Mike Tyson? You ever seen the hardest hitters put a dent in somebody's head? No. The same thing, like, y'all gotta watch my man, shout out to Drew, like Drew Titan. Watch him, like Drew Titan and everybody, the LDBC Strong. Just watch what they talking about and everything. Aki TV, Fan Boxing.
Right.
You can watch all of them.
Right. And
Huh?
I seen the video that you had sent me. Very, very interesting.
Yeah, it was very interesting in the sport because man, that's our champion, man. This is our United States heavyweight champion of the world. Like I said, sometimes in errors, this is what makes me mad about our era because our era doesn't care. When it was the 90s, everybody cared about Tyson. Everybody cared about the Evander Holyfield.
Right.
But when we get in this era, how is it that Clarissa Shields is the champion?
Yeah.
Undisputed female champion, and nobody's talking about her.
Right.
Back in the days, it was Layla Ali, and she's doing what Layla Ali was doing. That's what I don't understand. Like, this is what I don't understand in society, man. When you're great, people gonna hate you. You watch it. You watch LeBron James play right now. Everybody's trying to find a way to try to sit there and hate on LeBron James.
Right.
Because he's so great. They don't want to see him pass Michael Jordan. They don't want to see him pass this one, that one. And our generation needs to stop that. Y'all got to start respecting people in this generation, just like how they used to do back in the day when Dr. J was playing. Michael Jordan was respecting Dr. J, but you don't even respect the heavyweight champions now. What Deontay did, Deontay had the belt for 5 years. Definitely fought the best, tried to fight the best. The best didn't want to fight him. Is that the truth?
Right, it is. I definitely get what you're saying, and I'm looking forward to see what's next for Deontay Wilder because they're talking about AJ fighting Fury. Maybe if the belts change, AJ will be more open to giving Deontay Wilder a title shot.
But here's the crazy part about it. Fury just came out and said that AJ is not even close to having a fight.
Right. Right. That was 2 days ago. So then they should just run it back part 3 and let's get the trilogy going.
He's fearful because Tyson Fury knows what's gonna happen in part 3. I'll tell you, part 3, he knows he's gonna get annihilated. He's gonna get annihilated. And he knows that, man. Any person in sports, man, you gotta just pay attention to Cotto and Margarito. And you know what I was happy about when Cotto fought Margarito in the second fight?
Right.
Ask yourself, where was all that power from Margarito?
Right.
It's true.
True. Wasn't there?
It's definitely true.
Definitely wasn't there, and he got caught with Mosley, and Mosley
destroyed him as well. Yeah.
Mosley destroyed him.
So just think about it, like in the sport of boxing, man. We in times where, man, it's like this is our only heavyweight champion of the world right now, like Deontay Wilder, and we in times where nobody stood behind him. He came and said what he said because the people kept on saying it. It wasn't like he jumped out and said what he said about Fury. Remember, you had to watch the computer and you had to sit there with everybody from Young Pharaoh to all the boxing clubs seeing what was happening. And then they kept on saying, the trolls and the haters kept on saying, so if it's true, why doesn't Wilder come out and say it? If it's true. Wilder came out and said it. What happened? Nothing happened. It's not on ESPN. But ESPN will easily post Deontay Wilder versus Brandon Marshall where it doesn't make no goddamn sense. But they entertain that. But it's bigger than that. It's bigger than boxing. It's bigger than boxing. But all we could do, like I said, my friend, like I said, my brother is blessed. He's blessed. He's great in life. He's not miserable. People try to put you down, trying to say you're miserable or whatever. He's in a blessed situation, and definitely he will be undisputed when it's all said and done, man. It's just that situations happen in life. Is you live and you learn and stuff. They had to cheat him to beat him. Just remember that. They had to cheat him to beat him.
Definitely.
We all know it. You've seen it. When you seen the fight, We never seen Deontay never got tired the first, second, and third round. We ain't never seen Deontay look like that in any one of his matches and stuff. But like I said too, your circle of who you keep, your circle is a lot of jealousy. When you're on top, there's a lot of jealousy. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows when you're the man, people are jealous of you because you're the man. So, like I said, we definitely he's great and blessings on blessings for everybody, man. You'll see him soon, like I said too. He's not going nowhere.
Definitely classic. I want to thank you for calling in. You know, I'm going to keep in touch with you, and we look forward to having you back on the show in the near future and an update with Deontay Wilder. Everybody follow Classic Team Wilder. Tell us again your Instagram.
The Real Classic with the number 4 life at Instagram, and they can follow. Like I'm on Facebook, Classic MGM Grand Smith. And you can Google me, Classic MGM Grand Smith. My SoundCloud come out and everything. It's Bomb Squad to this day.
To the day.
To this day.
To this day.
Thank you, Classic. Classic, thank
That's
you.
my, like I said, yeah. And shout out to the whole camp. Can I give you a quick shout out? Malik Scott, Cuz Hill. I'd like to give a shout out to Marcellus Wilder, Deontay, and the whole camp and everybody, man. Jay, and there's much love and everything. Much love. That's it. Bomb Squad family for life.
Bomb Squad.
There you have it, Bomb Squad. Classic, thank you for calling in, and we'll talk to you very soon.
I appreciate you. Blessings.
Blessings.
Have a good one.
Take care. Want to thank Classic for calling in. As we end the show, great interview by Classic. Team Wilder, we look forward for an update for him. And just to close the weekend, Canelo's fighting Saturday on the Zone. And we also have PBC on Fox, Anthony Dirrell versus Tyrone Davis. And, we got Saturday, we got a big fights. And then we have Joseph Parker, I mentioned before, versus FA. And another The Zone card in New Zealand. So final words, guys. For me personally, great weekend of boxing. And I'm looking forward to a great Saturday. Mello?
I'm looking forward to the return of Wilder and see how he comes back from this.
Same thing.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank Classic for calling in. And until next week, take care.
Yeah, man. I ain't trying to rush your interview, but
No,
we don't want people. Other people
trying to,
because they'll say like, yo,